Please give a big hand. Yes, the opening video that we have just watched beautifully captures the themes and ambition of the Global Development Partnership Week 2025. Excellencies, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, greetings and welcome to the 18th Seoul ODA International Conference. My name is Kelly Park, serving as your MC for this meaningful occasion, and it is with great honor and great pleasure to be guiding you and welcome you to this opening session. It is an honor to meet you all. Thank you very much. Well, first and foremost, on behalf of the host and the organizing committee, I would like to thank each and every one of you for sparing your very valuable time to be here with us today and also showing great enthusiasm towards today's agenda. Now, marking its 18th year, the Seoul ODA International Conference has been a pioneering platform in the field of development cooperation here in Korea. We are very honored to hold this 18th Seoul ODA International Conference centered around the theme, calling for a partnership, catalyzing financing for development. Now, for this conference, we have a very prestigious lineup of experts waiting to share their excellent knowledge and in-depth information with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay with us till the end and hope you take home lots of thoughtful and fruitful exchanges back home. Now, before we proceed, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our host for this conference today. As I call upon your names, please rise from your seats to greet our audience and participants. Please welcome them with a big round of applause. So first, please welcome Her Excellency Kim Jin-na, Second Vice Minister of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Welcome. Thank you. And next, please welcome the co-host of this conference, His Excellency Chang Won-sam, President of Korea International Cooperation Agency. Thank you very much for your presence. Thank you. And last but not least, please welcome the Chair of the OECD DAC, His Excellency Karsten Starr. Welcome. Thank you very much. And thank you once again to all of you for your valuable presence here today. And we ask for your understanding for not being able to call upon all attendees due to time constraint. Once again, thank you to all of you for your contribution and support. And now to officially begin the 18th Seoul ODA International Conference, it is with great pleasure to invite His Excellency Chang Won-sam, President of the Korea International Cooperation Agency, for the opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this conference. Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you, both in person and online, to the 18th Seoul ODA International Conference. At the outset, let me extend my deep appreciation to Vice Minister Kim Jin-na of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for delivering the welcome remarks, to Mr. Karsten Starr, Chair of the OECD DAC, for his keynote address, and to Ms. Alejandra del Morabella, Executive Director of AMEXID, as well as Ms. Noela Pantoja Crespo, Executive Director of APCI, for their presentations. My thanks also go to Dr. Depapriya Bhattacharya from the Center for Policy Dialogue, and to all the session chairs and speakers who have joined us today. Ladies and gentlemen, the international community now faces serious challenges in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals amid growing geopolitical tensions, rising uncertainty, and the reduction of ODA budgets among major donors. Against this backdrop, this year's conference under the theme of calling for partnership, catalyzing financing for development, aims to look beyond the traditional limits of ODA and explore innovative solutions. This year, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and KOICA have also designated this week as the 2025 Global Development Partnership Week. Starting with the capacity building program for emerging donor agencies, it continues with the Seoul ODA International Conference, the 8th Busan Global Partnership Forum, and the 5th high-level meeting of the MICTAC Development Cooperation Institutions Network. At this critical moment, solidarity and cooperation among development actors who share universal values are more essential than ever. We hope that these back-to-back gatherings will provide a meaningful platform for practical collaboration among diverse stakeholders. Colleagues, at the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development held this past June, important discussions highlighted the mobilization of private finance and the catalytic role of ODA. Building on this, our first session today will reflect on those key outcomes and explore the way forward, including how Korea, as a responsible donor, can contribute to mobilizing development finance. Expanding private resources not only broadens the funding base, but also signifies the shared commitment of diverse actors to global development goals. In this spirit, our second session will highlight successful cases of collaboration on the shared objectives. Finally, the third session will revisit the Global Partnership for Effective Development Cooperation, GPEDC, launched at the 2011 Busan High-Level Forum, and discuss how its principles can be reinterpreted and applied in today's rapidly changing context. The Serbia commitment reminds us that while scaling up resources is vital, what matters equally is results-based implementation. This emphasis on results is directly aligned with the core principles of the GPEDC, which pursues effective partnerships based on the transparency and accountability of development finance. Excellencies and friends, I sincerely hope today's conference will help us reflect on where we stand, reassess our direction, and identify opportunities for meaningful cooperation. Once again, I thank you all for your participation, and especially those who have traveled from abroad. May you also enjoy the beautiful autumn season in Korea. Thank you.
Thank you, President Chung, for the insightful remarks, setting a perfect tone to why we are here today to drive partnership, catalyzing financing for sustainable development. Thank you once again. And now to personally greet each and every one of you here today. Please give a warm welcome to our co-host, Her Excellency Kim Jin-ah, Second Vice Minister of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Korea, for the welcoming remarks. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues from KOICA and our partners around the world. It is a great honor to join you at the 18th Seoul ODA International Conference, the first event of this year's Global Development Partnership Week. Let me begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to KOICA for organizing today's gathering and to all of you from donor and partner governments, civil society, academia, and the private sector for your commitment to international cooperation development. This conference provides a very meaningful opportunity for us to reflect together on how to pursue innovation and growth in development cooperation. We are meeting at a time when multiple and overlapping crises are widening development gaps and exacerbating vulnerabilities among disadvantaged groups. Yet, even as needs grow, development financing is under strain, with many donors reducing their aid budgets. According to the OECD's Global Outlook on Financing for Sustainable Development, released earlier this year, the financing gap for achieving the SDGs is projected to spend to about $6.4 trillion annually by 2030, up from $2.5 trillion before the pandemic and $4 trillion in 2023. In this context, the fourth International Conference on Financing for Development held in Sevilla played a critical role in sustaining the momentum of multilateral development cooperation by fostering close dialogue and reaching agreements between developed and developing countries. I had the privilege of participating in FFD4 myself and was deeply encouraged by the determination I witnessed. Korea, for its part, is fully committed to working for the faithful implementation of the outcome document, the Compromiso de Sevilla. To move beyond words on paper, we must reinforce global partnerships among all stakeholders and translate our shared commitment into concrete action. To that end, I would highlight three priorities. Efficient development cooperation built on close collaboration among like-minded donors, leveraging each country's comparative advantage. Mutually beneficial partnership with recipient countries as trusted partners in achieving sustainable growth. And integrated approach where ODA serves as a catalyst to mobilize private resources from business, civil society, and beyond. Tomorrow, at the Busan Global Partnership Forum, I look forward to in-depth discussions on how to strengthen development effectiveness as a practical means of advancing the Compromiso de Sevilla. As a responsible global partner, Korea is determined to contribute actively to the international community's effort to achieve the SDGs. Our commitment is not only to expand the scale of ODA, but also to improve the quality by sharpening its strategic focus, enhancing effectiveness, and ensuring that our assistance is designed in ways that are both trusted and embraced by our partner countries. Before I conclude, let me once again express my deep appreciation to all participants for your dedication to advancing sustainable development. I also wish for the success of this conference and indeed for all the events of the Global Development Partnership Week. May the 18th Seoul ODA International Conference serve as an inspiring platform to deepen our collective resolve and strengthen global partnership for a better and a more sustainable future. Thank you very much.
Vice Minister Kim for the thoughtful welcome, for emphasizing the importance of global partnership. We look forward to shaping a shared vision for sustainable development together. Thank you once again. And now, to illuminate the path for our future discussions, it is with great honor to introduce His Excellency Carsten Starr, Chair of the OECD DAC, for the keynote speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Thank you very much for this kind introduction. Let me begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to our hosts, the Government of Korea, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and KOICA, for convening this important conference and for your continued leadership in international development cooperation. I was here last time, I think last year, May 2024, to launch the Korea peer review from the DAC. And it's always a pleasure to be in Seoul, a city that embodies transformation, resilience, and global engagement. What a difference a year makes. So let me start by being very, very clear from the very outset. This year we meet at a time of growing demands and shrinking budgets, and against the backdrop of profound international global disruption. At the same time, the compounding effects of aggravated climate change, wars and armed conflicts, growing economic instability, rising inequality, still higher number of people living in extreme poverty, all of this is testing the limits of our development cooperation system. Unsurprisingly, expectations for sustainable development finance are on the rise. Yet, fiscal space is narrowing. Major donors are expected to cut ODA quite significantly in the coming years compared to 2023, and ODA projections suggest a worst-case scenario where ODA will fall almost 30% from its peak level of 2023 to the expected 2027 level. 5 years, a 30% cut in the worst case. The fourth International Conference on Financing for Development in Sevilla this July, and especially the negotiations leading up to it, reminded us that the stakes are high. While underlining that multilateralism is still somewhat alive and kicking, the Sevilla outcome also underscored the urgent need for a paradigm shift in better mobilizing, aligning, and managing finance for development. The discussions I attended in Sevilla highlighted two imperatives that are key to the Development Assistance Committee of the OECD. First, on development finance, FFD4 stressed the need to catalyze investment at scale, especially through domestic resource mobilization, through innovative finance, and through private sector engagement. Second, on development effectiveness, FFD4 called for strengthening country-owned development and financing strategies, underpinned by improved coordination to reduce fragmentation and transaction costs. Allow me to reflect on both of these imperatives from the perspective of the DAC and conclude with the DAC offer to Sevilla and our own review process, making the DAC itself better equipped to serve as in the evolving international development cooperation landscape. First, on mobilization and financing. The financing gap for sustainable development remains vast. Since 2015, financing needs in developing countries have surged by 36%, while available resources have grown only by 22%. The result is an annual gap of $4 trillion, $4,000 billion, which on current trends could widen to more than $6 trillion by 2030. It's only going one way, it's going up. Official development assistance, ODA, remains a cornerstone of the global financing architecture, particularly for the poorest and most vulnerable countries, in fragile contexts for essential social sectors. ODA plays a unique role in advancing gender equality, protecting human rights, and building climate resilience. But ODA alone cannot close the gap. Far from it. Even if all DAC members all of a sudden were at 0.7% of their DNI, ODA would still total less than 10% of the total financing gap. This reality underlines the imperative to leverage ODA more strategically to mobilize additional resources, in particular from the private sector. ODA has a catalytic role to play, creating enabling environments, supporting domestic resource mobilization, building investor confidence. ODA should be seen not only as a transfer of resources, but also as a catalyst and with a catalytic instrument, unlocking additional financing, supporting policy reforms, and crowding in private investments. Yet progress so far has been limited. In the peak year of 2023, where ODA was the highest ever, amounting to 0.37% for all DAC members on average, official development finance mobilized only $70 billion of private finance. And less than 1/5 of development finance providers had actual mobilization as a core objective for what they were doing. We can do better than that, and we must do better than that. The Sevilla document calls for exactly such a shift in mindset, and the DAC is committed to driving it forward. The OECD has long played a leading role in this space. The DAC blended finance principles are now a cornerstone of the financing for development system. Building on this, the updated blended finance guidance, launched last week in Paris, reflects recent developments and provides donor and stakeholders with clear standards and best practices for high-quality blending. At the same time, the DAC is working with development finance institutions, multilateral development banks, and private actors to expand local currency financing, improve reporting standards, and promote responsible business conduct. We're also addressing barriers to mobilization from the lack of reliable data and regulatory obstacles to the need for more catalytic use of ODA. Our goal in this agenda is clear: to mobilize more, better, smarter finance for sustainable development. To achieve this, ODA must retain its integrity, be tailored to country needs, and be used strategically. Second, on development effectiveness. Mobilizing finance is only one part of the equation. How we deliver and use it matters just as much. Development effectiveness is more urgent than ever. In a context of growing fragmentation, constrained resources, we must deliver on our shared effectiveness commitments to rebuild trust and ensure development cooperation works for the people it is meant to serve. However, 20 years after the Paris Principles, progress on development effectiveness is uneven at best. Preliminary findings from the Global Partnership for Effective Development Cooperation, fourth monitoring exercise, reveal how uneven progress has been. While there has been a modest improvement in predictability, the use of partner country public financial management system has declined, and significantly. At the same time, more development partners are adopting strategies to engage effectively with non-state actors, including the private sector. DAC members, emerging providers, partner countries all share the same concern: achieving real impact. In an evolving and aid landscape where effectiveness is starting to mean different things to different actors, and where tensions emerge between solidarity and self-interest, the effectiveness principles can provide the moral compass to keep cooperation on course. This also means recognizing that effectiveness is not just technical, it must become political again to gain traction. At FFD4, partner country governments and other local actors called for cooperation that is more inclusive, more predictable, better aligned with their priorities. In the past, too often they have not had a meaningful seat at the table. To rebuild trust, the system must evolve from delivering to co-creating. Calls to push for locally led development underline that change is needed, even as the realities of shifting local priorities, global goals, and donor interests make this a complex issue. The DAC is listening. We must revitalize the effectiveness agenda through the GPDC and through the 2030 Pact for Effective Development Cooperation, which was launched in Sevilla. The country-led Effectiveness Pact signals a change in ambition, offering a platform to bridge divides, elevate local voices, and hold all of us, including DAC members, accountable as better partners. It's a means to reset development cooperation together and to make it fit for the post-2030 era, driven by a new generation of partnerships and approaches to deliver and use all types of aid. How we undertake and strengthen the development effectiveness agenda will be crucial to the future of international development cooperation. And I see this as one of my most important tasks to engage wholeheartedly in these endeavors. Let me also address the third point, combining the newly launched DAC initiatives in Sevilla and the DAC review. At FFG4 in Sevilla, the DAC presented 4 concrete proposals to the Sevilla Platform for Action, the SPA, as part of the whole OECD offer. First, to enhance the graduation process from ODA with pilot initiatives envisaged for 2026. Second, to scale up technical assistance and capacity building through a new matching portal to better connect needs with resources. Third, to scale finance from development finance institutions by launching an annual DAC bilateral DFI dialogue guided by a policy action plan for the mobilization of private finance. And fourth, to reduce fragmentation and localizing development cooperation by creating a community of practice on decentralized cooperation and issuing new practical guidelines on locally led development. Alongside this, also in Sevilla, the DAC formally launched its long-awaited review process. The DAC review focuses on improving the timeliness and granularity of data on development finance, on how to situate ODA within the totality of financial flows, on safeguarding the integrity and relevance of ODA, including through graduation and country eligibility rules, and on rethinking how the DAC engages not only among its members, but also with non-DAC OECD members, other providers of development cooperation, non-state actors, and especially partner countries. This is to say that the DAC itself is determined to evolve. We are reforming to become more inclusive, more responsive, and more fit for purpose. We aim to be working more closely with partner countries to ensure our tools respond to your realities, strengthening our support for LDCs, SIDS, and fragile states, and engaging more deeply with civil society and South-South cooperation partners. The DAC wants to be an open space for dialogue, learning, and shared standards. We're committed to working with the UN, international financial institutions, regional organizations, and all actors with a stake in global development and investment to shape a more effective and more equitable development architecture for the future. Colleagues, let me conclude by observing that the road to 2030 is narrowing, but it's not yet closed. Achieving the SDGs, or at least getting much closer to this goal than we are today, will require smart, coordinated, and effective finance. It will require bold partnerships grounded in trust and shared purpose. And it will require leadership from all of us. The DAC stands ready to play its part. We'll continue to set and uphold global standards, continue to support evidence-based policymaking, continue to ensure accountability. We'll champion development effectiveness, mobilize catalytic finance, and promote locally led solutions. Sevilla was the beginning of a new phase in international development cooperation. Together, let us turn ambition into action and deliver on our shared promise of sustainable development for all, leaving no one behind. I look forward to your discussions today and to the Busan Forum tomorrow to identify concrete steps to work together and to enable you to engage with the DAC through collaboration on evidence and data, bilateral, regional, and global policy dialogues. I invite you to be in touch with the DAC to learn more about the breadth of our work across vital policy areas and the many opportunities we offer for wider engagement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency Carsten Starr, for the thought-provoking keynote highlighting partnership and accountability as the foundation for driving development financing. We look forward to new, innovative solutions emerging today. Thank you once again. And now, to bring our conference theme to life, I'm very thrilled to welcome Saengdongam Crew Show Design Group, SDG. Now, up next, SDG will be presenting a media performance inspired by and reflecting the core values of this event. Founded in 2002, Saengdongam Crew unites creative talents from dance, direction, stage design, and lighting, all working in harmony. Now, their innovative work transforms abstract ideas like connection, sustainability, or progress into dynamic on-stage experiences. So true to their name, STG brings vibrant energy and inspiration, echoing the spirit and objectives of our conference. So let us now welcome Korea's leading creator crew, Show Design Group SGG, as they capture the essence of our shared vision. So please join me in welcoming Show Design Group SDG. Please give a big round of applause. Thank you very much. That was a dynamic and impactful performance of the show design group SDG, who has beautifully captured the theme of our international conference. Ladies and gentlemen, please give another big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you once again. And with that, this concludes the opening session of the 18th Seoul ODA International Conference. Now we will take a break. Refreshments and coffee are prepared outside of the lobby, so please do enjoy, and we will resume right here back at 10 a.m. Thank you very much. And as noticed earlier, all the speakers, moderators, and associates of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and KOICA, please proceed up to the stage for the commemorative group photo. Once again, I would like to invite all of our speakers, moderators, associates of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and KOICA to please proceed up to the stage for our group commemorative photo. Thank you.